Very good evening. I welcome all of you to this session of capital gains. Today is our night number 7, and consistently we have been doing these sessions, Navratri tax Navratri sessions. And day 1 we discussed valuation of GST. Day 2 we discussed input tax credit under GST. Day 3 place of supply under GST. Day 4 we discussed, yes, customs valuation. Then fifth night we discussed about scope of supply and exemptions under GST. And yesterday we shifted to income tax and we discussed, yes, profits and gains from business or profession. In this third last night it is time to discuss capital gains. So yes, let's try to simplify capital gains. Let's try to revise capital gain. Okay, let's try to put capital gains in the correct context. Though yesterday we discussed one provision of capital gains, that was section 50. So already section 50 is clear to you, which is capital gain on transfer of depreciable assets. So now today let's discuss other things. Tell me, when does capital gain arise? Capital gain will also include capital loss. It arises as per section 45 of Income Tax Act. Friends, as per section 45 of Income Tax Act, there should be transfer of capital asset. So two things should be present. Transfer should be present, and that transfer should be of capital asset. Yes, transfer is defined in section 2 subsection 47, and capital asset is defined in section 2 subsection 14. Easy language में बोलना चाहिए. If you want to say it in the easy language, whenever any asset is transferred, means sold, there will be capital gains. But capital asset has been defined. How is capital asset defined? Capital asset is defined to mean any property, mind you, any property which is used whether in business or not. Means what? It means it could be used for personal use or it could be used for business use. Either of the use is okay, then that particular asset or property is called as capital asset. That's why, Aditya, even depreciable asset becomes a capital asset because it's used in business. And that's why your personal house will also become capital asset. Land will become capital asset. Jewelry will become capital asset. Okay, so that is the definition of capital asset. But capital asset, Krisha, specifically excludes, capital asset is supposed to specifically exclude stock in trade. So if any stock in trade is transferred, you cannot have capital gains. Agreed? Then what it excludes? It excludes rural agricultural land. So you should check that what is the definition of rural agricultural land. That rural agricultural land is out of definition of capital asset. Means if rural agricultural land is sold, there will be no capital gains. Okay, remember all these things in mind properly. Okay, so don't check consideration of rural agricultural land, for how much it is sold, how much it is purchased. Don't consider. It is not a capital asset. When something which is not a capital asset is transferred, there cannot be capital gains. Is the point clear to all of you? Yes, wonderful, wonderful. What else I want to tell you? Understand. Then, friends, personal effects is excluded from definition of capital assets. Personal effects means what? Personal effect means any property which is of movable in nature and which is held for personal use. Means furniture at Chaitanya's place, furniture at Chaitanya's house will be personal effect. Agreed? But furniture at Chaitanya's office will be capital asset. समझ में आया सबको? Did you all understand? Yes, all this is given to you in writing in Excel file also. Okay, I would like to keep it opened for your reference. You can see it in the notes for students. Class discussions, tax Navratri batch, capital gains. So each and every word which I am uttering is being discussed here. Yes, agreed? Got the point till this? आज थोड़ा ना मैं थक गया था. आई वॉज लाइक लेना है क्लास की नहीं लेना है. मैंने बोला चलो स्टार्ट तो करते हैं, बट आप सबको देख के एकदम जोश आ गया है. तो अब वो थकान जो भी थी वो चली गई है. ओके, सो रियली रियली स्टूडेंट्स गिव लॉट ऑफ एनर्जी. वाव, गुड. मतलब वो होता है ना 6 दिन काम करने के बाद 7 डे वाला फटीग, वो आ गया था. सो आई वॉज थिंकिंग एक्चुअली वेदर टू टेक और नॉट, इसलिए मैंने पूछा था आपको हु ऑल इज गोइंग टू अटेंड लाइव, बट आप सबका उत्साह देख के मैंने बोला चलो 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 लेट्स गो अहेड एंड टेक इट. ओके, पर्सनल इफेक्ट specifically excludes, means there are exceptions to personal effects. So whatever are exceptions to personal effects now, indirectly Ankush, they will become capital assets. जैसे ज्वेलरी है, ड्राइंग्स, पेंटिंग्स, वर्क ऑफ आर्ट, स्कल्पचर, ये सब चीजें and all these things, they will become, yes, capital assets, because they are exceptions from personal effects. Personal effect is excluded from capital asset, but exception to personal effect is jewelry. So in short, jewelry will become capital asset. Agreed? सबको समझ में आ गया? Wonderful. Chalo. So now let's go ahead. So what we did while doing capital gains is we divided capital gains in various cases in main batch. Okay. Of course, CS professional के लिए I am talking about CA intermediate and CS executive. For them we have done this topic in depth. So we divided the whole topic in special cases. Okay. Why we divided in special cases? Because you know basic format Aditya remains same. What is basic format? प्रियंका, प्रिया, क्या नाम है आपका? सॉरी मैं डेली भूल जाता हूँ. Mathyavathani. The basic format remains same. What's the basic format? Full value of consideration. Full value of consideration means at what price you are selling that capital asset. तो क्या आपने पहले डिसाइड किया है? Have you first decided that it's a capital asset? Yes, you have first decided that it's a capital asset and there is a transfer. Agreed? And now you are going ahead to calculate capital gains. How are you going to calculate capital gains? Full value of consideration. Full value of consideration means sale price in simple language, less expenditure on transfer. Expenditure on transfer means what? Expenditure on transfer means any legal expenses which you have incurred to sell the asset, any type of brokerage. Now FVC minus expense on transfer will give you net sale consideration. Net sale consideration minus cost of acquisition minus cost of improvement. That gives you capital gains. That's it. Now friends, two things I have to tell you. If it's a long-term capital asset, then you can minus not cost of acquisition but indexed cost of acquisition. And if it's a long-term capital asset, you can minus not cost of improvement but index cost of improvement. Agreed? What is cost of improvement? Cost of improvement means whatever capex, capital expense, that is being done to renovate this asset or to add value to the asset, that is called as your cost of improvement. Yes, expansion for the immovable property or renovation for immovable property, absolutely correct. That becomes your cost of improvement. And now you get capital gains. It could be short term or long term depending on which asset is being transferred. If asset transferred is long term, it's long term capital gains. If it is short term, then it is short term capital gain. And friends, then you claim exemption. The basic exemptions we are going to revise today, that is 54, 54F, 54EC. These exemptions you claim, some faculties and some author call it as deduction also. You can call it exemption or you can call it deduction. That doesn't make difference here. You minus it, then you get taxable capital gains. So I hope the basic format you have understood for sure. Yes, wonderful. 1-2 examples I will tell you. You just let me know that whether there will be capital gains in those cases or not. I sell a vehicle, motor car, which is being held for personal use. Shraddha, will it give rise to capital gains? Tell me, Chaitanya. Only Chaitanya is saying yes, others are saying no. So Chaitanya, it is not a capital asset. Motor car was held for personal use. So Ketki, it is a personal effect. So personal effect is transferred, there is no capital gain. So second question for you, Chaitanya. There is a costly painting of a famous painter purchased by one rich man, and after 2 years he sells that painting. Does it give rise to capital gain? What's the answer? Chalo, baki students have not answered. I am just waiting for your answers. Answer is Aditya, absolutely correct. Chaitanya, absolutely correct. Akshata, correct. Krisha, correct. Tri, correct. And Prachi, correct. Answer is yes. Why yes? Painting is excluded from personal effect. So painting is your capital asset. Capital asset is transferred. There will be capital gain. Agreed, Shraddha ji? Shraddha understood? Yes. What happens if stock in trade from business is sold? Will it give rise to capital gain? Obviously no, it gives rise to PGBP. So I hope you understood this basic. Okay. Overall, the capital assets are bifurcated in 2 types: short term and long term. Okay. Before going to short term, long term bifurcation, I would like one of you to tell me which is beneficial, short term gain or long term capital gain, which is beneficial from income tax perspective. Wonderful. Long term capital gain is beneficial. Now why long term capital gain is beneficial in comparison to short term? Because in long term, mind you friends, in long term you get benefit of indexation. Agreed? You get benefit of indexation. Wonderful. Further, yes, Ketki, taxation benefits. But what taxation benefits? Indexation benefit. Further, you can claim exemptions. Yes. And finally, the rate of income tax on long-term capital gain is 20% as compared to short term. Short term is taxable at normal rates. Agreed? I am not discussing here about shares. Listed shares, things is different. I am discussing for any other assets. Okay, so when you hold particular asset for more and more time, it becomes long term capital asset. So how do we bifurcate between long term and short term? Listen carefully. Listen carefully. If I talk about any asset, period of holding, if not more than 36 months, it is called as short term. And any asset which is not short term is called as long term. In short, period more than 36 months will be long term. Agreed? If I talk about land and building, what I talk about? Land and building, unlisted shares, then this 36 months, Krisha, is replaced by 24 months. And if I talk about listed shares, then it is 12 months. So I will give you 2 to 3 examples. You please try to tell me whether it's a STCA or LTCA. First example, I am holding jewelry for 48 months and selling. Means I am selling such jewelry which was purchased by me 48 months back. Yes, it's a long-term capital asset. So its transfer will give rise to long-term capital gains. I purchased a plot of land 3 years back and now I am selling it. It is again a long-term capital asset because it is held for more than 24 months. Okay, Bajaj Finserv's share which is trading on the stock exchange, that I am selling after 13 months. It is again long-term capital asset because held for more than 13 months, more than 12 months. Agreed? ITC, Indian Tobacco Company's share which is listed, I am selling after 3 months. It is a short-term capital asset. Wonderful. I hope all of you understood this very well. The bifurcation between short-term and long-term. Agreed, all of you? Why benefit of indexation? This I want to explain you now. That why there is a benefit of indexation. Okay, listen carefully. Aditya, do you know logic behind benefit of indexation? See, let me explain you logic. When you learn it, Krisha, you know logic? No? Very good. So that motivates me to tell you logic. Okay. You are smiling, so I did not understand whether you know or you do not know why you are smiling. Okay. अच्छा, ये first time समझ में आ गया. You understood for the first time that there is a logic behind that. Okay, listen. What happened is, I will tell you with one example. What happened is, I have a plot of land which was purchased in 2001. Assume, okay, in 2001 my age was 13. But assume there is one assessee who has purchased a plot of land in say on 5th May 2001. That is in financial year 1-2. Agreed, no? 1-2's plot of land which was purchased for 1 lakh, today he is selling for 25 lakhs. So what is the difference? 25 minus 1, 24 lakhs is the difference. So actually the difference is 24, but gain is not 24. Gain is not 24. Why gain is not 24 lakhs? because in 2001 petrol probably was 30 rupees per liter, but today petrol is 110 per liter. So quality of petrol has not improved. It's only that purchasing power of money has gone down, right? There has been inflation. Yes, time value of money means purchasing power of money has gone down. Okay, tell me one thing. What we want to tax? Rohit, right? रोहित नहीं, कौन कौन मैं भूल गया, दर्शन. Darshan, what we want to tax? Do we want to tax capital appreciation or do we want to tax effect of inflation? We of course want to tax capital appreciation. How will you bifurcate what is inflation amount and what is capital appreciation amount? So what you do is you inflate your purchase cost. Why inflate your purchase cost? You know, do you remember? Of course, you have exam in some days, you know this. You know CII, Cost Inflation Index. You know CII for 1-2 is 100. And tell me what is CII for 21-22 financial year? 317. So Khushi, Krisha, logic is simple. What was for 100 in 2001-2, today it is for 370. So land which was for 1 lakh in 2001-2, today will be for how much? So Ketki, 1 lakh is equal to 100. So how much is equal to 317? So 1 lakh into 317 upon 100, you will get 3,17,000, isn't it? आप मुझे बोलो, you now tell me, in this 3,17,000, what is the basic price of the land? 1 lakh. And what is the inflation? 2,17,000. But what will you minus? From 25 lakhs of sale price, from 25 lakhs of sale price, you will minus complete 3,17,000. Agreed? In short, you are subtracting basic price also and inflation also. In short, you are paying tax only on capital appreciation. Agreed? So automatically what indexation does is that it keeps inflation out from taxing. Is it clear? It keeps inflation out from taxation. Agreed? So see, I have given you that whole question also here. Yes, this whole question you can check here with different figures, but baki everything remains same. In same fashion, you have to work on cost of improvement also. Did you understand logic? If you understood logic, formula becomes a mere formality. What is the formula for indexed cost of acquisition? Cost of acquisition multiplied by CII for the PY in which asset is transferred upon CII for the PY in which asset is acquired. Did you understand? Yes. Now please understand one thing. In our example, we did 1 lakh into 317 upon 100. 1 lakh was CII for the PY in which asset is transferred and 100 is CII for the PY in which asset is acquired. Isn't it? Now that can keep on changing, as you know, obviously, and whatever CII is required to you will be given in the exam. So students always ask me question, do we have to learn CII? Obviously answer is no. And friends, what will be index cost of improvement? Index cost of improvement will be cost of improvement multiplied by CII for the PY in which asset is transferred upon CII for the PY in which the improvement takes place. Agreed, all of you? Yes, wonderful. Very good. Ketki got it? Yes. Chaitanya? Good, very good. Aditya got it? All the things? Yes, very good. So now friends, this all basics remain same in capital gain for all transactions. Okay, this is same for all transactions. Format is same, indexation is same, determining whether the asset is LTCA or STCA, everything is same. What changes? Few factors change, and those changing factors I have kept in different cases. Okay, now since we are discussing about CII, okay, we will link the first case with it, which is the base year for defining CII. 2000, you have to tell me in financial year terms, then I will say your matured audience. 2001-2, because it's not calendar year, na? It's a financial year. So 1-2. Can it happen, Darshan, that my asset was acquired before 2001? Obviously yes. If asset is acquired before 2001, then what will you do? In that circumstance, just now you will say, sir, you only told us the formula, cost of acquisition multiplied by CII for the PY in which asset is transferred, but upon CII for the PY in which asset is acquired. But we have acquired the asset before 2001. So what you will do? There is no option for you but to take in denominator, in this case, CII of 1-2, which is 100. Agreed? But if you are taking CII of 1-2, which is 100, then government should also give you option to take value as on 1st April 2001. So you are given that option. You should take original purchase cost or FMV as on 1st April 2001, whichever is higher. Why I am saying whichever is higher? If you get an option to take any one, of course you will take whichever is higher, because you want your cost of acquisition as high as possible, isn't it? जितना cost of acquisition ज़्यादा होगा, उतना indexed cost of acquisition ज़्यादा होगा. More the cost of acquisition, more will be index cost of acquisition, and less will be your LTCG. Agreed, all of you? Acha, but if we are talking about immovable property, then what is the restriction? Check here. What is the restriction? Do you remember the restriction? In case of cost of acquisition or of land or building or both acquired before 1st April 2001, it shall be original cost of acquisition or FMV. Same है यहाँ तक. But that FMV should not exceed stamp duty value. Okay, simple example I have put up here. Before going to this land, I will like to tell you, suppose एक jewelry है, jewelry which you have purchased in 1998. and at that time it was purchased for 60,000, but in 2000, on 1st April 2001, its FMV is 75,000. What will you take as cost of acquisition, 60 or 75? You will obviously take 75,000 because it is higher. You are given option to take that. If you had purchased in 98 for 60,000, and say gold's price or silver's price or diamond's price, platinum price, whatever it is, it goes down, and in 2001 it is 55,000, then you will go for 60,000 being higher, isn't it? Yes. So government will not take away right from you to take original price, but government will give you additional right. What additional right? To take the FMV as on 1st April 2001, because they are forcing you to take CI as 100. That's why in simple language what we say, whichever is higher. Agree with logic behind this? Now friends, understand this example. Okay, original cost of acquisition of land in 1992 was 1 lakh. Its FMV on 1st April 1, 2001 is 1,50,000. Okay, and its stamp duty value is 1,75,000. Very good. Now, first of all, you come down to what is your FMV. Can you continue with FMV of 1.5 lakhs? Yes, of course you can continue the FMV of 1.5 lakhs because it is within the limit, because it is lower than stamp duty value. So now fix FMV is 1.5 lakhs. Compare it with original purchase price. Original purchase price is 1 lakh. Agreed, no? Yes. So what will you take as final cost of acquisition? You will take final cost of acquisition as 1,50,000 being higher of the two. What would be answer in above case if stamp duty value on 1st April 2001 was 1,40,000 instead of 1,75,000? Then you Nikhil, 1,40,000 is the answer, because you will fix your fair market value at 1,40,000. Agreed? Actually it was 1,50,000, but stamp duty value is only 1,40,000. So in any case your FMV cannot exceed stamp duty value, so it has to be 1,40,000, and compare that with original purchase price 1 lakh and take whichever is higher. So you will take it as 1,40,000. No need to write, it is there in your Excel file. Agreed all of you? Click ho gaya point here. Is this point clear to all of you? Can I go ahead? Acha, what would be answer in original case if actual purchase cost is 1,80,000 instead of 1 lakh? Then to of course you have to take as 1,80,000, because 180 or 180 original purchase cost or 150, whichever is higher, isn't it? Don't bring stamp duty value in between. Stamp duty value can restrict only FMV. Stamp duty value cannot restrict original purchase cost. I hope आपको समझ में आया. FMV cannot exceed SDV, and then compare actual and FMV, whichever is higher. Wonderful, wonderful, very good. So I have taken questions here. You can nicely sit and solve if you have not already solved them, but solving them will give you a lot of confidence. I am telling you, if you have not solved them, please solve it. Okay, solutions are also given. So if you don't have time to literally solve it, check on your calci afterwards. Okay, then friends, I did not discuss with you today what is definition of transfer, but at this point I would like to tell you transfer includes sale, exchange, relinquishment of asset, extinguishment of rights, means disposal of assets, giving away of rights, okay, exchange of assets, sale of asset. Then compulsory acquisition, means government compulsorily acquires your land because they want to do some metro project work, or conversion of capital asset into stock in trade. Capital asset is not sold, but capital asset is converted in stock in trade. That is also transfer. Okay, so it is a different case in itself. Okay, what I'll do is, with help of this diagram only, I'll explain you. What happened is, few years back I purchased a plot of land. Okay, it's a big plot of land. Okay, reasonably big. Now what happened is, there is a trend now that all want to have a second home. Don't know how much valid it is, but all want to have second home, or all want to have a bungalow somewhere, maybe at the outskirts of the city. So my land is suitable for that. So what I did is, I divided that land in 7 plots, and that land now I will sell, I'll develop the land with amenities. What amenities? I'll put a gate around that land, and I will call it a gated project, and I will get the water connection. I will keep a nice entrance. I will make jogging track. I will make children's play area. I will make swimming pool, and I will sell these 7 plots to 7 different customers. Agreed? Whole point is, what have I sold actually? Have I sold my capital asset, or have I sold my stock in trade? You will say, what difference it makes? No, it makes a difference under Income Tax Act, because the date when I decided that I will start some development work on this plot of land, and the date when I introduced this land in my business was the date when I converted capital asset into stock in trade. Agreed? So Chaitanya, what happened is, in 2017-18 I decided that I will do a plotted project on this. So in 17-18 there is conversion of capital asset into stock in trade. Visha, did you understand? And in 21-22 I sold 7 plots. So in 21-22 which gain is there? In 21-22 there is PGBP, because what is sold is stock in trade. Ketki, understood? So friends, what happens is, there are 2 heads of income attracted: capital gains and PGBP. But good news for taxpayer is that in 16-17 when conversion happened, tax is not payable immediately. They say that okay, we are recognizing your capital gains, but don't pay tax now. When to pay the tax? When the converted land is actually sold. When is it actually sold in our example? In our example, it is actually sold in 21-22. So in 21-22, Mathya Vathani, there will be 2 heads. PGBP and capital gain. Agreed, all of you? Prachi agreed? There will be two gains, PGBP and capital gains. How will you calculate capital gains? This is most critical because in 1617, had you actually sold the plot of land, or have you just from your individual capital, it's an individual capital introduced in business? So you have not sold actually. When you have not sold, how will you know FVC? So FVC here is FMV. What is FMV? Fair market value. As on the date of conversion. तो आपको 1617 की FMV लेनी है. You have to take FMV of 1617 as sale price minus expense on transfer, net sale consideration, less cost of acquisition, less cost of improvement. Very important. Cost of acquisition will be indexed or normal. देखते हैं what answer you give. Okay, sure, it will be indexed. It will be indexed if period of holding is more than 24 months. That is the correct answer. From date of my purchase till date of conversion, period of holding should be more than 24 months. Then it will be indexed. How did all of you confidently tell indexed? Maybe assuming that it was for more than 24 months. Okay, you should not assume, na? See, you should have purchased it 24 months before date of transfer. Then only it will be long term. Got it? I hope no one counted from 1617 till 2122. It's not like that. From date of purchase till date of conversion into stock in trade. Suppose it was purchased in 1011, then 1011 to 1670. That is exceeding 24 months. Hence long term. Okay, now my second doubt for you is that you will calculate indexed. How to take indexation? Cost of acquisition is actual, there is no problem, into CII for the PY in which asset is transferred upon CII for the PY in which asset is acquired. Now friends, which is the PY of the year in which asset is transferred? ये सबसे क्रिटिकल क्वेश्चन है. वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड. जो भी है आपके मन में सही है. 1617. कुछ लोग 1516 बोल रहे, but they want to say 1617 only. Means when it is converted into stock in trade and not 2122. Very important. Agreed all of you? Kashish, स्नेहल. अरे स्नेहल नहीं है क्या? कौन स्नेहल है पता भी नहीं, बट कोई ना कोई स्नेहल तो देखेगी ना, रिकॉर्डेड देखेगी. ओके, ऐसे ही कॉमन नाम ले रहा हूं. प्रियंका, क्लियर? आदित्य, जगदीश. जगदीश है क्या कोई? पता नहीं. ऐसे ही कॉमन नाम बताओ ना. स्नेहा. चलो हो गया, क्लियर. राम, श्याम, मोहन. ये कॉमन नहीं है, ये एग्जाम्पल्स वाले नाम है जो अकाउंट्स के एग्जाम्पल में लेते हैं. प्रतीक, वाह, ये मतलब बाउंसर डाल दिया, खुद का ही नाम लो. ठीक है, ऑकवर्ड होता है थोड़ा. चलो लेट्स गो अहेड नाउ. अब देखो, when you are calculating PGBP, in this case, how will you calculate PGBP? Sale price minus the FMV as on date of transfer. यह आपकी डीम्ड परचेस प्राइस है, माइनस any expense which you have done for developing this land, whatever expense you did on this land after converting it into stock in trade, पहले वाले नहीं लेने हैं. I have seen students making some silly mistakes. If I told you that in financial year 18-19 I spent some amount for development of this land, so it's not your cost of improvement, it is your business expense. Why? Because that expense was done after conversion. कुछ समझ में आया आपको? ये स्विमिंग पूल बांधने के लिए पैसा लगेगा ना. To build a swimming pool there will be money needed, right? To build a jogging track money will be needed. Is that business expense or is that cost of improvement? यही सवाल है मेरा आपसे. That's a business expense. Exactly. अबे कौन है cost of improvement? प्राची. मैं यहाँ स्क्रीन फोड़ के आपको अभी क्या बोलूँ? प्राची जी मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ एंड आप क्या बोल रही हो? Business expense. Why business expense? Because it was incurred after. देखो कंफ्यूज, कैमरा ऑन नहीं किया ना इसलिए कंफ्यूज है. आधा ध्यान कहीं पे है. क्या करूं मैं अब? क्या करूं मैं आपका? बोलो आप. अब क्लियर हो गया क्या प्राची? अच्छा अच्छा, नो प्रॉब्लम नो प्रॉब्लम, सॉरी. चलो लेट्स गो अहेड. तो अब मैं इस पे आप जानने लगा हूं ना, और समझ में आ गया ना? यू अंडरस्टूड ना दिस पॉइंट? गुड गुड गुड. नाउ फ्रेंड्स, कंपल्सरी एक्विजिशन इज अनदर केस. ओके, जिसको थोड़ा भी कंफ्यूजन है इसमें, यू प्लीज see the illustration which I have given afterwards. Still confusion persists, you WhatsApp me. ठीक है? क्या होगा? What will happen if we keep on doing every example? It will not get over in 3 hours. Then revision and main batch में क्या फर्क है? Okay. और जो रिविजन के लिए बैठे उनको बोल होगा कि we to know this concept, आगे जाओ. That's the issue. So revision is like revision. We should keep it like revision. Compulsory acquisition. इसमें क्या होगा? What happens in compulsory acquisition? Government compulsory acquires. Now what happened is government acquired your plot of land in 1920, but they paid you compensation in 21-22. It is called as transfer in 1920, but you have to pay tax in 21-22. That is when compensation or part thereof is first received. So in my example, when is compensation received? It's received in 21-22. So it will be taxable in 21-22, but when has transfer taken place? It has taken place in 1920. So now you please understand my words properly. Why transfer year is important for calculating ICOA. ICOA means index cost of acquisition, because it is cost of acquisition multiplied by CII for the PY in which asset is transferred, isn't it? So that year for which you are going to take CII will be 1920. Understood? What will happen if after few years or after few months your compensation part was increased? Then what is that called as? Enhanced compensation. What is it called as? Enhanced compensation. For enhanced compensation, the cost of acquisition and cost of improvement is always taken as 0. Why it is taken as 0? Already you have claimed it as deduction while computing your original capital gains. right? And one two more things I would like to tell you. Could there be expenses on transfer in this case? Yes, the legal expense which you pay to get your compensation increased. Second, what I want to tell you is, because government paid you late the compensation amount slash enhanced compensation amount, government will pay you interest. Yes, this interest will be taxed under which head? Of course, it will be taxed under the head income from other sources, and it gets a standard deduction of dash percent under section 57. Very good. 50%. Akshata, well done. Aditya, well done. It gets a deduction of 50% directly. Agreed? I hope सबको समझ में आ गया. Yes, so you can go through these questions. मजा आएगा आपको. You can go through these questions. Directly उस point पे direct question बनाया है. Cap gain on transfer of depreciable assets we have already covered yesterday. Those who were not present yesterday, please watch recording of PGBP. In that, while discussing depreciation, we have discussed this. Is it clear till this point to all of you? Yes. We will come to slump sale a bit later. याद दिलाओ मुझे, we have to do slump sale. But अब देखो, transfer of such assets which is acquired by way of gift or will or inheritance. Okay. Now in this case, actually whatever asset Aditya got from his grandfather or great grandfather, they said they had great grandfather had written in his will that Aditya will get so and so land. Correct? Got the point? So he got that land. Now what is actual cost of acquisition for him? Actual cost of acquisition for him is 0. But Income Tax Act is kind enough to say that cost of acquisition is cost to the previous owner. So is it a good thing for you or bad thing for you? It's obviously a very good thing for you, because higher the cost of acquisition, better it is, no? Aditya is not paying anything actually, but he's getting a chance to claim deduction when he sells the land. That is the whole point. In short, cost of acquisition in such cases will be cost to the previous owner. Previous owner is his great grandfather. Agreed? One more thing I want to tell you. Period of holding. Why is period of holding calculated? To determine whether asset is short term or long term. That period of holding for his great grandfather will also be included in Aditya's period of holding to calculate his total period of holding. Okay. In short, SSC's father gifted him plot of land. Okay, so cost of acquisition is cost to his father, and SSC now within 1 year from taking the gift sold it. But father was holding it for 8 years from date of purchase. Now period of holding for SSC will be 9 years. Father's 8 years and own 1 year. So asset will be considered as long term. Did you all understand what I am saying? कि bouncer गया? नहीं ना? It's not bouncer. You understood, right? आ गया, समझ में? Good, good, good. Okay. Listen. बाउंसर पे 6 मारा. अच्छा, किसने? मैंने, तुमने, किसने? आई एम नॉट गेटिंग हु हिट 6 ऑन हुज बॉलिंग. हु इज बॉलिंग, हु इज बैटिंग? आई डिड नॉट गेट इट. ठीक है, आपने 6 मारा, मैं एज्यूम करता हूँ आई एम बॉलर. इंस्टीट्यूट एक्चुअली दिस इनकम टैक्स एक्ट इज बॉलर. वी बोथ आर बैट्समैन. आई एम ट्राइंग टू ट्रेन यू हाउ टू डू बैटिंग. तो ठीक है, समझ में आया ना? तो मैंने तो प्रोविजंस बनाया नहीं है. ओके, हु अंडरस्टूड इट? दैट पर्सन हिट अ 6. अच्छा, ये ऑर्कर इनकम टैक्स. इट्स अ मिक्स, इट्स अ मिक्स है सब कुछ. अब देखो, नाउ अंडरस्टैंड. डू यू नो मंजुला शाह केस? Even if you should remember that मंजुला शाह केस एक बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट का, इट्स अ बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट डिसीजन. In this case, very critical part becomes index cost of acquisition. What is index cost of acquisition? Cost of acquisition into CII for the PY in which asset is transferred upon CII for the PY in which asset is acquired. Kashish, acquired by whom? Acquired by Aditya or acquired by Aditya's great grandfather? If you take by Aditya, then you are not applying Manjula Shah case. What Manjula Shah case says is, you can take in denominator CII for the PY in which asset was acquired by previous owner. तो कौन है previous owner? His great grandfather. Agreed? My simple question to you is, where is your benefit in taking CII for SSC's year of acquisition or in taking CII for previous owner? आपका फायदा किस में? Where is your benefit? Previous owner. Wonderful, wonderful. क्योंकि previous owner means पहले वाला CII, earlier CII. Earlier the CII, lower will be the value in denominator. Lower the value in denominator, higher will be ICOA. Higher the ICOA, lower will be LTCG. Lower the LTCG, lower will be the tax. Did you understand? So what is better? To apply Manjula Shah is better. Okay, and then you can do such thing and say in the note that you have applied Manjula Shah decision, and institute will understand. In their module, they have given answers by both the way, Manjula Shah decision also and what? Normal also. Normal in the sense, you have to take off the SSC. Did you all understand? कितने लोग देख रहे हैं? कितने लोग पेशेंट है? पेशेंट है मतलब पेशेंस है. 18 लोगों में पेशेंस है. 18, 2 तो मैं ही हूँ. 19 है टोटल. I have joined from 2 mobiles, 2 devices. One to read your chat messages and one to communicate with you. 19 minus 2, 17. बस. ओके, कौन देखेगा ना संडे नाइट? दैट्स द क्वेश्चन. आएगा तो छोड़ देंगे कैपिटल गेन. अच्छा, अवेक. यहाँ पे आप फाइट मत स्टार्ट कर दो. हु इज स्लीपिंग एंड हु इज अवेक. ठीक है, गॉट इट ना ऑल दिस थिंग्स. यस, इंडिया मैच तो इसमें इंटरेस्ट है. क्या देखना इंडिया मैच में? 237 हो गए ना इंडिया के, तो अब जाने दो ना. जीतेंगे ना हम. बाद में मैं बोलूँ कि आपको एक, आई टेल यू वन सिंपल थिंग. You watch the match or don't watch the match, result is going to be same. So right now it's not preferable to watch the match. Second, whatever match happens, afterwards you can watch highlights in 20 minutes. So why waste 5 hours which can be done in 20 minutes? फायदा आपका प्रॉफिट ऑफ 4 hours 40 minutes 280 minutes का प्रॉफिट हो गया देखो. Watching match is short term capital gain. Yes, yes. Think like that. Efficiency yes obviously. तो क्यों टाइम पास करना. वर्ल्ड कप में इन्वेस्ट करना टाइम, मतलब उससे भी फायदा कुछ नहीं होने वाला है, बट एट द मोस्ट सेटिस्फैक्शन मिलेगा आपको अपडेटेड होने का. ओके चलो लेट्स कंटिन्यू. You understood these things. Do you understand that we'll take one last concept and take break? Okay, it's getting heavy I think. बहुत केसेस डिस्कस किए, बहुत कुछ डिस्कस किया, अभी एक केस डिस्कस करते हैं एंड देन वी कैन टेक अ ब्रेक एंड आफ्टर ब्रेक वी कैन कंटिन्यू अदर डिस्कशन. बहुत कुछ है ब्रेक के बाद, ठीक है. तो 15 मिनट कुछ ना कुछ तो रिचार्ज हो क्या हो. क्या हुआ है, I accepted money from someone to sell my capital asset. What happened? I accepted money from someone to sell my capital asset. That money was accepted on 1st March 2018. 2 lakh rupees was accepted. Agreed. And what happened, you know? He said that he will purchase the property for 1 crore 20 lakhs. So he gave me 2 lakhs advance. And he said, just wait for 1 month. I will give you other amount of consideration. I said, okay. So I stopped search for potential buyers. But afterwards, he said he does not want to purchase. Now what I did, you know? Ruthlessly, I forfeited the amount. Forfeited means cancelled. Forfeited means I kept his 2 lakhs with me. The negotiations transaction failed, but I kept rupees 2 lakhs with me. It was my right. It was given in the agreement. Nothing illegal. Got it? Now point is very simple. That 2 lakhs, right now, that 2 lakhs becomes taxable in my hands as income from other sources. Agreed? Both simple hai. It becomes income from other sources. The end. So why are we discussing in capital gains? We are discussing it for one reason. You will understand it soon. In financial year 21-22, I sell this asset finally. No impact in 21-22 of transaction which happened in 2018 of me keeping that 2 lakhs. No impact, because that 2 lakhs was taxed as IOS immediately. But Aditya, then why are we discussing it here? We are discussing it here because one thing is there. If this would have happened before 1st April 2014, okay, mark the date. What's the date? 1st April 2014 means see this example. क्या हुआ है? What has happened? What has happened is in Jan 2011, advance of 2.5 lakhs was received by A for his property. तब law थोड़ा complicated था. Then law was bit complicated. Before 1st April 2014, law was complicated. Kashish is saying why to learn it now. Understand, Kashish, it can happen that advance you have taken before 1st April 2014 and then that advance is forfeited and then you cancel your decision of selling property, postponed, and now you sold. Getting it? So तब तो tax नहीं हुआ because then it was not taxable under IOS. But in 2011 you have enjoyed money. How much money you enjoyed in 2011? 2.5 lakhs. You are Mr. A. You enjoyed 2.5 lakhs. Okay, because negotiation failed and advance was forfeited. आपने कुछ टैक्स पे किया है क्या 2.5 lakhs पे? Have you paid any tax on 2.5 lakhs? No. Because tax is under iOS. That law came from 1st April 2014. उसके पहले रिसीव हुआ तो it was not taxed under iOS. So friends, your 2.5 lakhs is yet waiting to be taxed. Is it taxed till now? No, it is waiting. Property कब बेची जाएगी, कब बेची जाएगी? Now what happened? In Feb 22, property was sold for 90 lakhs. Legal expenses on transfer are 1% and brokerage is 2%. What is it, legal expense and brokerage? Can I say legal expense and brokerage are expenses on transfer? Okay. Original purchase cost of property was 10 lakhs. Government says from this 10 lakhs you minus 2.5 lakhs. कुछ समझ में आया? It is indirectly taxing only. Krisha is looking in a big question mark. No? Understood? Yes. Okay. नहीं, अंकुश को तो समझ में आ गया, कृषा को समझ में आया कि नहीं? अंडरस्टूड ना? ओके ओके ओके. Point is very simple. 2.5 lakhs was not taxed earlier. Now it is deducted from cost of acquisition. If cost of acquisition goes down, automatically LTCG or whatever CG will go up. That's the point. In short, taxation of that advance received but forfeited is postponed. It is postponed to that PY in which you sell the capital asset. Sell means transfer. That's it. It is so simple. Now you will not index 10 lakhs. Now you will index 7 lakh 50,000. 10 lakh minus 2 lakh 50,000. Agreed? बस इतना सिंपल है. अब कैलकुलेशन में टाइम मत वेस्ट करो. 90 lakhs में से माइनस हो गया 2,70,000. 87 lakh 30 आ गया. अब आपने इंडेक्स किया. नाउ यू हैव इंडेक्स्ड 7.5 lakhs. You know how to index that, and you also index the cost of improvement. Now you get got the capital gains. That's it. Did you understand? What would have been your answer in the above case if the advance was received and forfeited in 1819? Then in 1819 itself, tax 2.5 lakhs. And in 21-22, you will take complete cost of acquisition 10 lakhs. Agreed? So कुछ past का mind में नहीं रखना है. If transaction happens after 1/4/14, but past का mind में रखना है if transaction happens before 1st April 14. Did you understand the whole issue? Wonderful, wonderful. Assume time is 10:20 now. Round off to nearest of 10 under section 288B. Okay, and we will meet after 15 minutes. Agreed? 15 मिनट के बाद मैं आपको मिलूंगा. जो है वहां पे आप अभी जो है वो सब तो आने ही चाहिए वापस. नो स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन इन नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स. ओके, आप कितने में देखता हूँ. वाह, 17 के 17 है. वो 17 के 17 वापस आने चाहिए. ओके, जिंदा जिंदा चाहिए. जिंदा मतलब विल ट्राई. अच्छा, जिंदा मतलब ध्यान देना चाहिए. दैट्स इम्पोर्टेंट, राइट? चलो, I'll see you at 10:35 as discussed. Take care, take rest, whatever you want to do. Chalo, bye bye.